issue as this council has decided. But passing this legislation is not the way to go about solving these problems. And putting motions aside, we should reject this legislation for three main reasons. First, the UN would have to subsidize abortions. Second, the infrastructure is not available. And third, the money can go to more needed places. Now, my first point of analysis is that the UN would have to subsidize abortions. Because we would have to make them cheaper for people who have low income or in poverty, then we would have to essentially give away free abortion, and we would have to pay at least $350 in the U.S. cents, or even more in other countries. And so this would actually be essentially the UN paying for these women's abortions. Not only that, but the resolution doesn't even specify how in poverty these women have to be and what their income level has to be cut off, or it doesn't even specify what their income level is. And so if these people just say they cannot afford an abortion, then they allow them to get a free one. But regardless of all of this, it would distort the market when in countries where abortion is legal, because if we're paying for these abortions through the government, then it will just inversely raise the cost for people who can't afford them. But with all that aside, we have to look for the infrastructure available. In places where poverty and infant mortality rates are the highest, the infrastructure of these abortion clinics, doctors that would provide women with safe abortions that would be beneficial to their health are simply not available, and it would cost many more dollars to actually put this infrastructure in place and provide the clinics and hospitals and the training necessary to actually give these women safe abortions. Now, the delegate from India proposed that it would save money, but in all reality, when we're subsidizing and paying for these women's abortions, and we're setting up the entire infrastructure in these poverty-stricken countries, it's going to end up costing a lot more. Now, my third point of analysis is that we can actually put this money to greater use. It specifies in this resolution that due to malnutrition and poverty, that this is why there's high infant mortality rates. But if we instead took this money and away from abortion and infrastructure and targeted it towards programs that actually gave people food and nutrition, then this would help the populations of these countries as a whole, and we could supplement existing programs that already help these women and other people with food and nutrition. Not only should this money be put towards this cause, but also towards sex education, like contraception, and providing these women with more effective birth control or even more condoms, and allowing them to have a better access to these things that would prevent these pregnancies in the first place and would be much cheaper than providing them with a free abortion. So in conclusion, for the reasons that we would have to subsidize these abortions, that the infrastructure is not available, and third, that we can put this money to better use, we have to put our emotions aside as